Hi guys, and welcome back to Lux Travel.
Welcome.
We are in central Costa Rica and staying at this hotel called
The Finca Rosa Blanca. It's a boutique hotel and coffee plantation.
Yeah, so in this video we'll show you around the hotel and the various amenities, and at the end we have a nice coffee tour. So if you're a coffee connoisseur, please be sure to stay around for that.
And please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment on the video. It really helps us to grow.
Bueno, you speak Spanish?
Oh, no.
So first view, Finca Rosa, about to check in.
Welcome beverages.
Cheers. We say Costa Rica, salud.
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 To Costa Rica.
See, we find way back to the room or the front desk. You cannot get lost.
Okay.
If we don't know anything about you guys in 7 hours, then we can send somebody to pick you. But otherwise, you will be safe. And there's nothing dangerous or monkey. Place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
Breakfast starts 7 to 10, 11 to 5 for lunch, and 6 to 9 for dinner time.
Okay.
The only time we try to make reservations for dinner time, but you can make it later with these guys over here. We have a complimentary coffee between 3:30 and 5 for all guests right here. So when you ask about a coffee, my coworker is going to offer you a little bit here.
This is a main housing building. So when you walk in, you have several rooms here, and they have some murals on the wall, and it overlooks this sitting area, and it has a cool fireplace and just really tranquil. They don't have the water running, but sometimes they do have it running here. And some greenery. And then they have these sculptures. Apparently they're like handmade, and they're all over. Hi, let's take a look at our suite. This is the Rosa Blanca Suite. So as you can see, you have a bar area, a little sitting area, and we're gonna take you through to some of the other pieces. And you have this nice spiral staircase, and we're going to go out there later because that's where the bedroom is. And then this is what's happening. This is so nice. This is the bathroom. Now check out this really tropical mural on the wall. So you have your shower, not your traditional look here, very unique. You also have this nice tub.
Oh, I can't wait to get in this.
It's huge.
And I think one of the unique things, it has really nice fresh water from the outside that flows into this tub.
Super cool.
And it's a really nice wash area. The art in this place is just magnificent. Let's take one last look before we head upstairs. Okay, after you, hon.
All right, let's go upstairs. Let's see what we got here. This is the bedroom, and it also comes with and then you have a balcony upstairs as well. So it overlooks this really lush forest, and in the foreground you can see the city of San Jose and the layered mountains as well.
Beautiful.
During the afternoon they serve coffee, so I'm having a cappuccino and Marvin is having a latte. It comes with some cookies, and open restaurant, open to the outdoors.
So late lunch today, I have some chicken with rice and beans and some plantains, a salad. What are you having, hon?
This is a vegetarian burger, and it's served with yuca fries.
So I'm having the grilled sweet plantains with ice cream. And what's this, hon?
This is chocolate ganache, and both of them have homemade ice cream. And yours look like it has a little bit of cashew as well.
Oh yeah.
Looks good. It's very unique.
So we're in rainy season, so it's really we're getting lots of afternoon showers. Bright side is the air is nice and crisp and clean, and then it's an opportunity for us to just relax. So my hands just relaxing in bed. So
Good morning.
good morning.
We are awakened by the sounds of the birds. They're so beautiful. Maybe around 4 in the morning it starts. It's a little bit after 5 now, but take a look. The sky's opening. It's just so calm.
Yeah, really calm. You got a nice fresh air coming in. It's nice, it's relaxing. So let's go check it out.
Ale, Ale.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos días. Okay. Bye.
So this morning I am having huevos cafetalero. So in English, eggs to the coffee grower. So tortillas, some eggs, and salsa. And Marvin is having here typical breakfast. So beans and rice, some tortillas, plantains, and eggs. So very nice. The pool overlooks the valley. You have a jacuzzi tub. You also have some seating areas around to relax, to kind of enjoy nature. It's an overcast day, so we did not get into the water. However, I understand it is chemical-free water. The area is very nice. So similar to the room, you also have this mural on the wall. So it's a great area to hang out, take some pictures, and just relax.
So we're about to go on a tour. We're at the Finca Rosa Blanca. It's a boutique hotel, restaurant, and also coffee plantation. So really excited for the tour. So let's
first
go.
of all, welcome to Finca Rosa Blanca. Okay. We're gonna walk a little bit through the plantation, explaining how we work our coffee, how we grow it, how we process, a little bit about the roasting.
Okay.
And then in the way back we have coffee to drink. Okay. So
All
we have
right.
a lot of coffee for you today.
Awesome.
All right.
We are not in the harvest season, however, we have the fruit already. This is just a few examples. Later I'm gonna show you better examples, okay? But that is the fruit. Before roasting the coffee, we have to remove 3 different layers. Number 1, this one, that is the outer skin, okay? So let me peel this. Okay, the outer skin, that as I mentioned before, should be red color. Look at the 2 beans inside. Okay, there you go. Look familiar? Coffee bean, you see? So those are the coffee beans. Then in between the skin and the seed, we're gonna find a slimy part. That slimy part is a concentration of sugars that we commonly call mucilago or mucilage. Sugars that we find inside the coffee fruit, okay? And then we are not gonna roast the coffee like this. That there is a 3rd layer that is a yellow color that is called parchment, okay? Parchment skin protects the actual bean that we roast. That bean that we roast is the one that we call green bean, or in Costa Rica, it has a name, that is golden bean, golden grain, or as we call it in Spanish, grano de oro, because what represents economically for Costa Rica. For Costa Rica, this is our gold. It's the one who changed completely the economy back in the 1800s, okay? So that there are three important factors when we talk about quality in coffee. There are the soil, the climate, and the elevation. We cannot control the elevation, we cannot control the climate, we can either control the soil, but what we can do is to work the most, you know, is the one that we can do pipes or sprinkles or something like that to irrigate. We work only with the bananas, first of all. Okay. The inside, they are like honeycombs, where they collect the water, and that's the water that we're not gonna be using as an irrigation system. Take a look at this. You see? Okay. So all this water is the one that we're gonna be using as an irrigation system. Now, this is the one that I want to show you. If you notice, in the area that we have more sunlight, this open area, look how much weed we have. A lot of weed growing.
Yeah.
As soon as we jump to the area that we have more shade and more leaves and less sunlight, almost no weed. Keep the moisture for longer in the soil. So natural weed control, natural moisture control, fertilizer, home and food for wildlife, and different flavor profile. So those are the benefits that we receive in the plantation work. Basic steps of processing the coffee. Number one, harvest, harvest, measure, peel, ferment, dry, and then we store. All the coffee that we have here is unroasted. It's not roasted yet. We roast coffee only if we know that we're gonna sell it to the consumer directly. Okay?
We learned so much about organic coffee farming. If you're enjoying the Express, at the end we have included the full tour for you as well. After the tour, you are invited to have coffee, and it's French press, and it does come with some pastries. We returned from our coffee tour, which was pretty awesome. So that was a little bit over 2.5 hours. So lots of information. Our guide was very knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah. So now we're having lunch on our balcony.
So I'm having a chicken sandwich with some yuca fries.
And this is a vegetarian sandwich with some zucchinis and some mushrooms and so forth. And as you can see, we have a nice balcony here. So just take a look around. Natural nature at its finest.
Nice and quiet.
We're going to show you the gift shop, but before we do, let's check out this common area that is adjacent to the restaurant. Up into another larger sitting area with a nice fireplace. And it's also a library too, so there are a variety of books and then some artifacts, I guess, from Costa Rica. I think it's a collection over the years. This is a gift shop, so let's take a look around and see what they have. So here you got a few items, some coffee and coffee cups. You have some chocolate, some art. You also have some jewelry here. Of course, Costa Rican coffee, specifically Cafe Rosa Blanca, and then you have apparel. So this is all local Costa Rican, so everything in the gift shop is from Costa Rica. Finca Rosa Blanca was a perfect stop for us, only 20 minutes from the San Jose airport. We hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Be sure to check out the rest of our Costa Rican series. Leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up. Really helps to get our videos out to more people. If you've watched this far, you can continue watching because we've included the full coffee tour. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support.
Have you been to a coffee plantation before, or this is the first time?
First time.
First time in a coffee plantation. Okay. But you're a coffee drinker, right?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Oh, you love it. Okay, so this is the first example of a coffee plant. Right now, we are not in the harvest season. However, we have the fruit already. This is just a few examples. Later I'm gonna show you better examples, okay? But that is the fruit. The season of coffee is from November to January. That's when we have the season harvesting, basically. That's when we have the fruit that you see right now, red color. Okay, so when they are ripe, they are gonna be red color. So from green, they will turn red. From red, they will turn brown color. Okay, so the one that are brown is not the one that you see like in the package of coffees. Okay, that one is brown or black because it's roasted already. The one that you see brown on the branches, that's coffee that is overripe, which is actually not good quality. So we want them when they are red color. And that would be by hand, one by one, selecting only the one that is ripe, only the one that is red color. So from November to January, that's when you see the workers with the baskets in the front with a belt around their waist. So free hands, they can pick the fruit one by one. Pick the fruit that is red, leave the green, and then come back, pick the red, leave the green, and then come back, and so on, so, you know, for around 2.5 to even 3 months of the year. That's normally November to January. Question at this point, first of all?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, perfect. Later, actually, you'll see there are so many things to explain, and well, you can ask as you want.
Interesting.
Interesante, yes.
Thank you.
Right now, we are actually with the fruit. We had the blooming already. Okay, we had the blooming already. That is actually a white flower. Okay, the flower is white color, 5-petal flower. That smells kind of jasmine. Okay, jasmine, gardenias, and coffee. They are all related. They belong to the same family. That's the reason why they have characteristics in common. Okay, so
How old is this tree?
this one right here is approximately 6 years, 7 years.
And
Okay,
how long do they last?
coffee is a bush, so they have hardwood, so they are long life. Around in the wild, they could be for around over actually 60 years. Okay, in the organic plantation like this one, around 40 or over 40 years. In conventional plantation, they will last for around 20-25 years. Okay, it lasts less depending how you work the coffee. Okay, so this is chemical and things like that that stimulate more the plant, you know, that stress a little bit more because they're producing more than what they could, or they are let's say ripened in time that shouldn't, you know, because the chemicals will do all of that. So that stress a little bit more the plant, so the life will be reduced. Okay, organic, they are almost grown like in the natural way, you know. However, still harvesting the coffee before they naturally fall, you know, and stuff like that. So that stress a little bit the plant as well. That means they're gonna be like around 20-25 years less. Okay, so and in the wild, as I mentioned, there are plants that are over 60 years old. Okay.
Okay.
Any other question? These tiny little things that you see right here is what is left after the flower fall off. You see?
Oh.
This one. And then they will get this big, maybe just a little bit bigger than this. However, the big difference is going to be the color and how thick they are. So they're going to be bright red color, and they are going to be just a little bit thicker because they will develop sugars inside. So they're going to be with kind of liquid inside, like a slimy part inside. I'm going to pick this fruit right here. Pick this one. Let's see bigger ones, like maybe this one here, this one, and here we go. Okay, this is gonna be. Okay, take a look at this. Okay, so this is the fruit when is well, I don't know if you're gonna be recording. Before roasting the coffee, we have to remove 3 different layers. Number 1, this one that is the outer skin. Okay, so let me peel this. Okay, the outer skin that, as I mentioned before, should be red color. Look at the 2 beans inside. Okay, there you go. Look familiar? Coffee bean, you see? So those are the coffee beans. So normally you find 2 coffee beans inside. Sometimes 1 or sometimes even 3 seeds inside. But the most common to find would be 2 of them. So, well, again, before...
And they will be red.
They will be red. The skin, not the seed.
Not the seed.
Not the seed.
What
The
color
seed is
is-
always green.
Green, okay.
So the skin is the one that changed from green to red. Okay. So before roasting, we remove number 1 the outer skin. This one should be, as I mentioned, red. There are exceptions of some of them that turn yellow color. That later I'm gonna explain why. Okay. However, most of them are gonna be red. Then in between the skin and the seed, we're gonna find a slimy part. That slimy part is a concentration of sugars that we commonly call mucílago or mucilage. Sugars that we find inside the coffee fruit, okay? And then we are not gonna roast the coffee like this, that there is a third layer that is a yellow color that is called parchment, okay? Parchment skin protects the actual bean that we roast. That bean that we roast is the one that we call green bean, or in Costa Rica, it has a name that is golden bean, golden grain, or as we call it in Spanish, grano de oro, because what represents economically for Costa Rica. For Costa Rica, this is our gold. It's the one who changed completely the economy back in the 1800s, okay? So that's the reason why it was known as the grano de oro, okay? So outer skin, mucilage, and parchment to get the actual bean that we roast. So later I'm going to explain how we process the coffee, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we peel it, how we roast it, and all stuff like that, okay? So any question at this point?
We're on the coffee tour, and he spotted this beautiful bird. He's trying to catch it on the camera. It's called a mut-mut.
Okay, so besides organic, shade grown.
Yep.
So we have trees and plants that have been planted on purpose with a purpose, okay? Later we talk about the trees, the big trees that you see right there. Right now we're going to talk a little bit about the plants. For example, we have the calathea, or they are called zebra plants because of the stripe on the leaves. Then we have the wild iris or yellow wild iris because of the beautiful yellow flower that later we can see some. Then we have the monstera, or also is called Swiss cheese plant, okay, because of the holes in the leaves, as you can see. Okay?
Yeah.
And then we have the maraca, or also is called beehive ginger or shampoo ginger, because they also use these flowers in order to make shampoos and soaps out of this. Okay, so it smells really good. Okay, actually later if you want you can squeeze it and smell your hand. You will see that it smells a little bit like ginger, citrusy characteristics. It's really interesting. Okay, all of these plants, they have a characteristic in common, that is a type of root. They are not very deep, but they are strong roots. Costa Rican topography is irregular, so everywhere you go, up and down, mountain slopes and hills. That's Costa Rica, okay? A good example, right here, as you can see, steep hills like this. When it rains, the water rushes down. Will take all the nutrients and minerals from the soils. That's what we call soil erosion, okay? So to control the erosion, we are working with these plants. Calathea, monstera, and wild iris, they were planted as barriers all the way in the edge of the plantation. This is what we call living fences or living barriers for erosion control. Protection and a little bit of decoration at the same time, right? They decorate a lot, but they protect a lot as well the soil. So this is protection and decoration for the soil. Why is so important to mention the protection of the soil and other stuff about the soil? Soil is one of the most important factors when we talk about quality in coffee. There are three important factors when we talk about quality in coffee. There are the soil, the climate, and the elevation. We cannot control the elevation, we cannot control the climate, we can either control the soil, but what we can do is to work the most, you know, is the one that we can work the most with. So that's the reason why many things that we're gonna be explaining is gonna be talking about the soil, because it's the one that we can work the most with. Okay? It's in our hands to have fertile or not soil, right? Very good. Any question about it?
That's good.
Oh, so they actually make these into shampoos and sell them?
Yes. So soap and shampoo and things like that, they use this. Actually, if you want, you can squeeze it and smell your hand. It smells really good. It smells kind of...
Is a bee on it?
That's a stingless bee.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. You see how much water?
Oh my goodness, it smells really good. I can even smell it through my mask.
Yeah, it's quite strong smell. And look at the bees, you see?
Yeah, it's like very fruity.
Look at this.
And sweet.
Look at all the bees, you see? Those are called stingless bees. They are attracted by the smell and also because of the little nectar they will find into those flowers.
Yeah.
That purpose is irrigation. Okay, so here we don't do pipes or sprinkles or something like that to irrigate. We work only with the bananas. they are holding a lot of water inside, more than 25 liters of water that you will find inside the plant. So we can say that approximately 60% of the plant is made of water. So during the dry season, we use the water that is inside there. Playing with the life cycle of the banana plant. The lifespan of a banana plant goes from 12 to 18 months. So they live for around year to year and a half. In 1 year, like in 12, 14 months, they are that tall. Then 4 or 5 months later, the fruit is ripe, will fall off. The plant will decompose and release all the water that is inside back to the soil. So that would be our natural irrigation system. However, we don't wait until they fall. Because if they just fall off, so they can break the coffee or they can damage the coffee that is around. So that's the reason why in a year, when the fruit is ready, or in about a year, when the fruit is ready, we harvest the fruit, we chop the plant down, leave the little pieces right there, decompose and release all the water back to the soil. So that would be our natural irrigation system. Actually, let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. The plants, or the banana plants, they are made of layers. By the way, technically banana is a herb, okay? It's not a tree or a bush. Banana is a herb, okay? Exactly, it's a big herb, basically, okay? They are made of layers, as you can see, okay? So they have no wood, first of all. Okay? It's gonna start raining already. Look at the inside. The inside, they are like honeycombs, where they collect the water. And that's the water that we're not gonna be using as an irrigation system. Take a look at this. See? Okay. So all this water is the one that we're gonna be using as an irrigation system. So 3 benefits that we receive from the bananas. The first one will be water, as I mentioned before, okay, irrigation. The second one will be fruit. We have bananas that we can perfectly use them at the restaurant. Some workers at the home, or we provide food for the wildlife. And the third one will be shade. Later we're gonna talk a little bit about the shade in the plantation. So water, shade, and fruit. 3 benefits out of the banana plants. Slower growing cycle. When they grow slower, prolong the fruit development. When the fruit develops slower, they have more time to develop sugars and oils. So we can say aromas and flavor. So we have a stronger flavor profile, basically, a different flavor profile. That's the benefit that we receive in the coffee. But at the same time, we have many other benefits in the plantation. For example, the leaves, the fruit, the flower, branches fall in the soils, decompose, fertilizer for the soils. Mulch, basically. Leaf, fruit, flower, branches, feed wildlife, you know? Home and food for wildlife. We have a lot of birds, we can hear them. Birds control insects. We don't need to use insecticides or pesticides because the birds control that. Not in 100%, of course, you know, but it's gonna be a natural control that we have in the plantation. Birds drop in fertilize the soils. At the same time, they spread seeds all over, so we have more trees and more plants, and all for free. So many benefits that we receive in the plantation working like this. Now, this is the one that I want to show you. If you notice, in the area that we have more sunlight, this open area, look how much weed we have. A lot of weed growing.
Yeah.
As soon as we jump to the area that we have more shade and more leaves and less sunlight, almost no weed.
Right.
You see the difference?
Right.
Little weed, lot of weed. You see? Natural weed control, natural moisture control, natural fertilizer. So the cover leaves and the shade won't allow the fast evaporation. So that will keep the moisture for longer in the soil. So natural weed control, natural moisture control, fertilizer, home and food for wildlife, and different flavor profile. So those are the benefits that we receive in the plantation working like this. So why we have so many benefits? Why not everyone is working in this way? Because as you can see, we have a lot of benefits.
Less yield.
Yes. As you can see, the room of this is small tree, is the room of 1 or 2 more coffee plants. Okay? So we have less yield, and at the same time, if a disease or a pest attacked, let's say heavily the plantation, so then there's no way for us to counterattack, you know? We have to wait. We have to do our stuff, you know, of controlling pests and diseases, but they're not going to be as efficient as the chemicals, of course. So that's the reason why it's going to be always working under a risk. This is profitable because it is. There's those. We cannot say that it's not profitable because it's not going to be a way to keep working, you know. So it is profitable, but not as profitable as conventional. So that's the reason why most of the farmers prefer to go in the conventional way. Produce more. Some farmers they just do less chemical, for example, okay, but definitely it's gonna be more profitable than organic. Right now, the good thing about this is that there are more and more people that are, let's say, consuming organic stuff. Jays, those are brown jays. You can see them right there. There you go. It's you know blue jays, right? The name, right? That is Arabica. So that's the species of coffee that we have in Costa Rica. Around the world, there are different species. There are two that are the most common, that are Arabica and Robusta. That approximately 60% of the coffee of the world is Arabica. Around 25-30% of the coffee of the world is Robusta. So those are the two species that mainly we find in the world, in the market in the world, or in, let's say, in the countries that are growing coffee. There are two other species that are Excelsa and Liberica. So that one is gonna be just a few percentage. And then there's a new one that is just in the market very recently that is called Stenophila. Okay, so we focus only in Arabica and Robusta. That are the one that for sure you will find in the market. Arabica, higher quality, higher price, okay, because of the higher demand. Why the higher demand? Flavor of that coffee is more balanced, we can say. Not that bitter, not that sweet, not that acidic as Robusta is. For example, Robusta is a coffee that is very bitter, way bitter than the Arabica. Okay, so that's a coffee.
Is that the Brazilian coffee?
Brazil has 80% Arabica, 20% Robusta. Yes, okay. There is some Robusta coffee in Brazil.
Okay.
However, who is the largest producer of coffee in the world? Brazil, with 29% of the coffee in the world. So they have a lot of Robusta as well. Do you have an idea who is the second largest?
Costa Rica.
Ethiopia?
Ethiopia is like a number 7, something like that. Okay, we wish we wish to be in the list. No, Costa Rica is like a number 14, 15, something like that.
Okay.
The second largest is Vietnam. Vietnam is the second largest producer of coffee in the world. The third one is Colombia. Okay, 19% of the coffee of the world for Vietnam and 9% of the coffee of the world for Colombia. Okay, so Vietnam has mainly Robusta. That's the reason why not many people know that there is coffee in Vietnam, because the coffee is always there. However, it's coffee that is, let's say, not labeled, not always is labeled. They have actually a lot of coffee, as I mentioned. A small country and they have a lot of coffee. However, as I mentioned, not many people know that because they are mainly Robusta growers that, as I mentioned before, is lower quality. But the coffee is always there. Okay, the coffee is always in the market. Some people love it. However, it's coffee that, as I mentioned before, is very bitter and also very important, has 3 times more caffeine than Arabica. Okay, so it's a coffee that is like a kick, like a wake-up slap. Okay, so it's a coffee that not many people can drink pure.
It's like bam.
Yeah, that's like a Red Bull, you know, right away to your heart. Okay, so then there's a market for the Robusta that is to turn it into instant coffee or in blends. That's the way that you will find the coffee in the market. Costa Rica has only Arabica, where actually since 1989 to 2018, Costa Rica had a law of growing only Arabica, and it was a law for around 30 years. However, recently, as I mentioned, 2018, they modified the law in order to bring Robusta to the country to cover areas that are lower elevations. Arabica grow better on high elevations, Robusta grow better in lower elevations. So in order to cover areas that they were not farming or they are not taking advantage of the land, so then they modified the law to provide opportunities to the lower elevation people, you know, to grow also coffee. Okay, so however, at this point, it's still only Arabica in Costa Rica. However, the steps of processing the coffee. Number 1, harvest. That is all done manually. Look at the spider here. Oh, you see?
Yeah.
Underneath.
That's a crab-like spider. Harmless. Okay, so we harvest the coffee by hand, one by one, selecting only the one that is ripe, only the one that is red color. From November to January, every single day is when we have the workers picking the fruit that is ripe. Pick the red, leave the green, then come back. Pick the red, leave the green, and then come back. Harvest the coffee, and then we measure to pay the workers. The workers are paid volume. They are paid according to the amount of coffee they pick. So the more you pick, the more you earn. The workers are paid every cajuela. A cajuela is a standard unit of measurement, is one box. That is approximately 12 kilograms of coffee. That's approximately 25 pounds. Each worker receives around $3 or $4 per box. One worker can make around 8 of those boxes in a day. That means that a worker is going to be making around $25, $30 a day, which in Costa Rica, that's decent money. However, it's hard work. It's very labor intensive. So it's a job that actually is hard to find the workers. One of the biggest challenges for most of the farmers is to actually find the workers. Okay, to here, to the processing plant, where the first step is going to be this machine right here. This machine is the peeling machine, or chancadora. Chancar is to squeeze. So that's what the machine is going to do. It's going to squeeze the fruit. We collect the skin, we squeeze the fruit, separate the skin and the seed. We collect the skin, we use it for fertilizer. Then the seeds, they go to the front with water to those white tanks. The two white tanks are the one that we call fermentation tanks. Fermentation is a natural fermentation. We are not using any yeast or bacteria or something like that. We just leave the seeds dead in water. The seeds will sink and sugars float. So 10 hours later, the next day, early in the morning, we find on top only the slimy part. We collect all the slimy part, we use it for fertilizer. The seeds that have been washed, they have been peeled, however, they've been in water. We cannot store the coffee like that. So that's the reason why, after the fermentation process, we dry it. Okay, so those that you see right there are our sun drying beds. So basically the process is harvest, measure, peel, ferment, dry, and then we store. Quintal. Okay, so 1 quintal is 100 kilograms of beans unroasted. Okay, all the coffee that we have here is unroasted. It's not roasted yet. We roast coffee only if we know that we're gonna sell it to the consumer directly. Okay, we have to peel the coffee. As I mentioned, all the coffee inside there is coffee that is still with the parchment on. Then this right here is the peeler. This right here is the peeler. This is the one who removed the parchment. Okay, so with this machine right here, we're gonna remove the parchment. Remove the parchment. From here, we're gonna get only the beans, okay, which is the green bean, and then the parchment is gonna be blown outside. Okay, all the parchment is gonna be blown outside. We collect the beans and we put it in the machine right here. This machine is the sorting machine. Sorts the coffee by density. The machine will shake. As it shakes underneath, there is a blower. The machine is working with an angle. It's not flat, as you can see. It has like a little angle. So different density go different sides. High density to my right, low density to my left. High density, high quality. Whole bean, similar size, similar weight, similar shape. Low density, broken pieces of coffee, small particles and shells. All that coffee is still working as coffee, just cheaper coffee. Okay, that's coffee that goes to the market, the lowest prices. Those that you find even with additives to fix the flavor of the coffee. Okay, artificial additives, aromas or taste or flavors, I mean. Okay, so when we saw the coffee, that's when the coffee is ready to roast. That one right there is our roaster. 12 kilograms of coffee that we roast per batch. So the coffee will go inside here. Through this glass, we can see the color of the coffee while the coffee is spinning. Sampler, that we can smell the coffee, look at the color. And then, when the coffee is ready, we just open this part, all the beans, we fill this container. This is a cooler. We need to cool the coffee right away. The coffee is still with the temperature, so the coffee is still cooking. So we can burn the coffee even if it is at the fire. So it's important to cool the coffee right away. Green bean, okay? In 10 minutes, approximately, okay, this is not specific, okay, approximately 10 minutes, you can make a light roast. Approximately 12 minutes, you can make a medium roast. And approximately 15 minutes, you can make a dark roast. So difference between the light, the medium, and dark is just time in the roaster. The more you are roasting, the more you are burning. Changing aromas, flavors, density color, and even the caffeine content. So the darker the coffee is, we have more bitterness, we have less acidity, and what do you think about the caffeine? Do you think
If it's used for espresso?
the dark roast, the one that is for espresso?
Well, no, I keep my answer.
You stick with your answer.
Yes.
Okay, here, what do you think?
I'll
The
keep
longer
it.
the roaster, more or less caffeine?
More caffeine.
More caffeine. Okay, the longer in the roaster, remember that I mentioned before, the more we are burning, changing aromas, flavors, and everything in the coffee. So chemical and physical structure of the bean. Part of the chemical structure is the caffeine content. So we definitely modify the caffeine as well. The longer in the roaster, the more caffeine we burn off. So
Right.
it means that the longer in the roaster, the less caffeine we have. Not more caffeine. Okay, so many people actually they get confused. Once I say that this is the one for espresso, so people immediately change their mind.
Yeah.
However, espresso has nothing to do with the caffeine content. Espresso is just a different way of brewing coffee. That you can make espresso with a light, medium, or dark if you want, because it's just the way you brew it. It's different because the espresso is a fast extraction by pressure. So that means that you're gonna have, and also less water. So it's concentrated. So it's not strong caffeine, it's concentrated caffeine, which is different. Okay? So the longer in the roaster, the less caffeine we have. And
After the tour, you are invited to have coffee, and it's French press, and it does come with some pastries.